Hey guys, my name is Lauren Waddell, and today I'll be evaluating whether or not global climate change denial is a valid argument. First, we're going to start with an overview. What is climate change? According to NASA, climate change is a change in the typical or average weather of a region. This change in weather transfers to a change in global weather patterns, and therefore a change in the Earth's overall climate. Here, it is important to note the difference between weather and climate. Weather is a short-term change in precipitation, clouds, and etc., while climate, on the other hand, is a long-term change observed over the course of several years. Evidence of climate change can be found across the world on every continent, with events that include the increased temperature trends described as global warming, sea level rise, giving way to ice mass loss in mountain glaciers worldwide, and extreme weather events. However, there are still many who deny the scientific evidence available and deny that there has been a notable change in climate at all. Beginning in 1958, a study carried out by Charles David Keeling discovered the link between carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and human population. Keeling tracked the CO2 levels while stationed in Mauna Loa, Hawaii from 1958 through 2005. According to JSTOR article CO2 and People, initially in 1958, the world population was about 2.9 billion, while the CO2 content of the air at Mauna Loa was about 315.2 parts per million. By 1983, the world population had advanced to about 4.68 billion, while the CO2 had advanced to 342.8 parts per million. Through his research, he was able to create Keeling's curve, which shows the correlation between population and carbon within the atmosphere. The discovery of greenhouse effect in the late 1980s and early 1990s further linked the gap between atmospheric changes and human impact. Similar to a greenhouse, the Earth naturally works to retain heat. When the sun's light and heat energy reaches the Earth's atmosphere, it traps some of the energy through greenhouse gases, such as water vapor, CO2, and methane, while the rest is reflected back into space. However, human activities such as burning fossil fuels, agriculture, and land clearing are increasing the amount of greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere. The extra greenhouse gases are trapping more heat, thus causing global warming. Today, one of the largest supporters of climate change denial is our very own President, Donald Trump. This tweet by President Trump sums up his view toward climate change. The concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. His view, along with many conservative Republicans, is that climate change is simply a ploy to slow down American industry, which happens to be largely based on fossil fuels. The only reason they are denying the truth is because they are greedy, selfish, money-hungry businessmen, only interested in personal gain from the investments they have in the American industry based on fossil fuels. Today, we are seeing many of the dangers that climate change denial presents. We have recently seen its effects with the most recent lineup of hurricanes. Hurricanes of this magnitude are not normal. When they do occur, they are usually lone occurrences. However, Harvey, Irma, Jose, Katia, and Maria have all been Category 5 storms. Why is this? Their intensity is mostly due to climate change based on human activity. As I said earlier, more heat trapped in the Earth's atmosphere is dangerous. The heat trapped in this atmosphere creates hotter oceans, hotter than ever before. The heat of the water fuels these storms' intensity. Based on my research, I can conclude that global climate change denial is not a logical argument. The Industrial Revolution sparked the increase of fossil fuel emissions into the atmosphere. The atmosphere, as I said previously, acts like a greenhouse, trapping heat. Too many fossil fuels in the atmosphere cause the Earth to trap heat, thus causing global warming. Global warming produces long-term changes in weather patterns, aka climate change. The series of intense hurricanes is an example of climate change. The only reason our president and others deny the climate change is to protect their fossil fuel jobs and money. But let's face it, if the climate continues to be this unpredictable, we won't be alive to worry about the fossil fuel industry and the money involved in the first place. That's all I have for you today, guys. Here are my sources. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.